Hello guys, welcome again. This time with a really amazing and interesting subject. The master of our body, the nervous system. I will be introducing the basic and important components of the system in this video. Before we go to the video, please subscribe to Medi if you haven't yet. The human body can be said one of the greatest miracles in the universe. It has all the specializations to adapt and react to internal and external environments, and it maintains itself in a desirable homeostasis. All these are controlled by the nervous system. Nervous system observes, regulates and controls every single action our organs undergo. The nervous system controls the functions of the body by receiving stimuli from inside and outside, correlating and processing the stimuli, giving efferent impulses to muscle and glands, and stores the sensory information and integrate them with the new informations. Nervous system can be divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system contains brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system contains the cranial nerves, spinal nerves and associated ganglia. The CNS can be considered as the processor of a computer. It's the command center for the functions of our body. PNS is like a set of cables which transfer critical data from the CNS to the body and then feedback information from the body to CNS. CNS, the brain and spinal cord are protected by meninges and bony structures, the skull and vertebral column. The brain is situated inside the skull and has 6 major parts: cerebrum, cerebellum, diencephalon, midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. The cerebrum is the largest part. It's separated as 2 hemispheres, the left and the right. Each hemisphere is then divided into 4 intercommunicating lobes, which are named according to the bones of the adjacent skull: the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe and the temporal lobe. These lobes have their own specific functions, although they are all connected functionally. They all have their own sections of control. The frontal lobe is mainly responsible for reasoning and thoughts. The parietal lobe works for integration of sensory information. The temporal lobe processes auditory informations, and the occipital lobe is the one which processes the visual informations. The cerebral hemispheres are connected to the spinal cord by brainstem. Brainstem contains midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. The spinal cord is roughly cylindrical in shape, begins as a continuation of medulla oblongata and terminates at L1, L2 vertebral level. It has cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and coccygeal segments. In CNS, the neurons are arranged into grey matter and white matter. White matter consists purely of nerve fibers, whereas the grey matter includes the neuronal cell bodies. In the brain, white matter is arranged deeply as covered by the outer grey matter. But in the spinal cord, the white matter fills in the outer or peripheral region. The peripheral nerves come out from the CNS and innervates the body. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of the spinal nerves. Most of the cranial nerves arise from the brain and emerge from the foramens in the base of the skull. The spinal nerves arise as anterior and posterior roots. Anterior root contains motor fibers and posterior root contains sensory fibers. They get together and form the spinal nerves, which are mixed nerves, have both sensory and motor fibers. They divide into anterior and posterior rami. The posterior rami supply the muscles in the back of the trunk. The anterior rami enters into the neurovascular plan of the trunk and supply the muscles. Anterior rami makes plexus with each other to supply the limbs, such as brachial plexus and lumbosacral plexus. Autonomic nervous system is a special type of nervous system which controls the involuntary actions. It's distributed throughout the CNS and PNS. It's divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. Sympathetic nervous system takes action during emergency situations. It's responsible for fight and flight. The parasympathetic nervous system takes action during resting state. It's also called as rest and digest system. There are various receptors throughout the body. It can be either a nerve ending or a sensory receptor organ. An external or internal change is known as the stimulus. It produces impulses in sensory nerves by producing action potentials. It's conducted by the sensory nerves which are known as the afferent nerves. The impulses are transmitted to CNS. Voluntary actions are coordinated by various parts of the brain. Sometimes the reflexes are coordinated by the spinal cord. The informations from the CNS are carried by the efferent fibers to the effector organs. Effector organs can be either a muscle or a gland. Finally, the effect for the stimulus will be done. For this action, the sensory and motor neurons are interconnected either directly or through the interneurons. All these connections are known as the neuronal synapses. These junctions make sure that the impulses are conducted in the right frequency, right way, and in the right direction. Also, they are important in maintaining the one-way conduction of a neuronal pathway. Hope you got a brief idea about nervous system. You can soon expect more and more detailed videos explaining each and every subunits of the system. Please stay connected to watch them all. Please leave a like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon. Bye bye.